The Ballad of Johnny Arcane, a novel by Jim Nail, read by Jim Nail. Prologue. 3 cowboys are sitting around a campfire, roasting a cat. In the distance, the restless coyotes are setting up their cacophony, and the pungent aroma of sage permeates the warm night air. Up close, wild cats are skulking around in the underbrush, guttering like off-key harmonicas and complaining about the injustice of their lives. The cats have become a problem. So many of them they hole up in abandoned barns, and they hide under the floorboards of inhabited houses, permeating the ductwork with the stench of their feces. Sometimes you come across a dead cat in the woodpile, or a live cat may jump out at you all claws and snarling when you open the broom closet. Cats get into the grain silos, and their trampled carcasses are often seen on the roadbeds. But they make good eating. Aramis, the youngest cowboy, leans back on his knapsack and watches the stars. He watches a blinker crossing the sky. Blinkers look like stars, but they move slowly yet visibly across the sky, and they blink. Nobody knows what the blinkers are. Aramis wonders about this. Why don't people care? Why aren't people more curious about the blinkers? "Look at that," says Clymer as he turns the spit. "Did you ever see a more delicious looking thing? Don't that just make your mouth water?" Birdleg takes a swig from his bottle of corn liquor. "Yes, I have," he says. "Yes, you have what?" "Yes, I have seen a more delicious-looking thing. In fact, I have tasted a more delicious-looking thing." Clymer lets go an exasperated sigh. "Birdleg, I'm just using a figure of speech. There are lots of delicious-looking things and delicious-tasting things, too. But this is the one what's set before us tonight." Birdleg makes the kind of smile you make when you remember something. "It was a pie," he says, "just 3 weeks ago before we left. Annabelle made it. She got a hold of some beet sugar, and she used them fresh blackberries from behind the grange. It were sweet." Clymer turns the cat, and some fat drops and sizzles on the coals. Sweetness. That ain't something we taste much of these days. Birdleg nods. "You know about the theory of the flavors, don't you? There's only 3 flavors in the known world. There's sweet, and there's bitter, and there's sour. Everything we taste on our tongues is made up of some permutation of them 3 flavors." "So you're saying mostly these days we've just been tasting bitter and sour?" "Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not sure I agree with the theory of the flavors. On account of I'm not sure what sweetness is a flavor. Oh, yeah? Well, then what is it if it's not a flavor? Can't say for sure. I think there's lots of flavors. Like there's salty and there's spicy and they're like peppers. But sweetness don't seem like a flavor to me. Seems more like a feeling, like you get when you remember something sweet. Like just now when I remembered Annabelle's pie. It felt like sweetness. Nah, I don't think spicy's a flavor neither, Clymer says after a pause. I mean, one winter, when it was cold, this old medicine man told me I should put peppers in my shoes. And I did. And I walked in the snow, and my feet were warm. That weren't a flavor. That were a feeling. The two men are quiet for a while, and the young cowboy, Aramis, remains quiet, watching the blinker as it disappears behind the tree-lined western ridge. Then, suddenly, there's a change in the air, a kind of shimmering, like a pebble dropped into a pond. And a little breeze rustles up, seems to rustle up itself up out of the fire, and the tent flaps rustle, and suddenly there's another man standing there, a tall, thin man in a shredded buckskin jacket, shaggy mop of hair, grizzled beard. Birdleg startled, but Clymer remains calm, still turning the cat. Evening, stranger. You hungry? You want some cat? No, thank you, the stranger replies. Maybe just a little warmth from your fire. I was going to pass on by in the night and not bother you, but I overheard what you were talking about, and I was interested. There's a moment of quiet. Birdleg regains his composure. We was talking about sweetness. We was talking about the theory of the flavors, how there's only 3 flavors, but we're not sure that sweetness is a flavor. Clymer coughs. We're not sure spices is a flavor neither. So what's your take on it, stranger? Birdleg says. Sweetness. Is it a flavor? The stranger laughs. His laughter is warm and melodious and rich with overtones. The cowboys are a little shaken by it. No, he replies. Sweetness isn't a flavor. Sweetness is just sorrow that has been transformed. Aramis shakes his head suddenly as if waking from a dream. Sorrow? He says, but Birdleg interrupts. I know sorrow. Our little Ivy, just last winter, she died of the fever. We were all in so much sorrow. The stranger considers this for a moment. Yeah, your sorrow is real. And I can tell by the sweetness in your voice, it is being transformed. But I must tell you something difficult. Outside the 4 directions of the known world, there is great sorrow, unimaginable sorrow. And it is moving in. The cornmeal that seals the borders is blowing in the wind. But there are places, here and there, where the sorrow is being transformed. The known world is only one of those places. Sweetness is just sorrow that has been transformed. Then again, there was a shimmer in the air. This time it seemed like a wind blew back from the tent flaps into the fire, and a tongue of flame circled up and disappeared into the coals, and the stranger was gone. For a long time, nobody said anything. Clymer let go of the spit and turned the coals with a poker. Birdleg took another swig of his corn liquor. Cats gurgled and cackled in the underbrush, and branches snapped. The restless coyotes sang another distant chorus. Aramis shivered and then spoke. That was Johnny Arcane, wasn't it? Clymer threw his poker down decisively into the dirt. You shut up! That weren't Johnny Arcane. Johnny Arcane is dead. Aramis rallied. No, he's not. They say he's dead, but he's not. I know he's not. He's dead. He died when Frankie took the photograph. We all know that. It's just true. He didn't die. He just disappeared, like all the others, like the people from the camp. They went into the side world, so you can't see them anymore. But they can come back any time. Aramis, you talk shit, and it's not good for you. You can't ride with us if you're going to keep talking shit like that. But Aramis was crying softly in soft little sniffles with a voice like a child's. He's not dead. I know it. Johnny Arcane's not dead.